Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Rangers, and I'm here to talk about Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals, where the Rangers win 5-4 in a barn burner that ended up going to overtime. Rangers had a 4-2 lead in this game. To win 5-4 in overtime is a little bit terrifying, but they just simply find a way. And I talked about it yesterday, or not yesterday, in the last video, where the Rangers, they're not going to outplay the Panthers. I am past expecting that. I know the Panthers are going to win the physical battle. I know they're going to win overall battle. I don't think they're totally working over the Rangers, but it was another game where in just about every category, they slightly edged out the Rangers, but in the big moments and in the biggest moment, the Rangers found a way to win, and they find a way to go down and steal the first game in Florida and take that 2-1 series lead. So how do you get to that 5-4 score in overtime? Well, for starters, you have the Panthers scoring on a power play, which they would do more than once today. And Sam Reinhart takes what's in Mika Zibanejad's pocket and says, hey, what if I also took what was in Adam Fox's pocket? Not a great goal for them to give up. I understand it's the power play. Got to see something better out of Mika Zibanejad. Got to see something better out of Adam Fox. Would you like Shesterkin to save that? Yeah, maybe, but also he's the only reason you won Game 2. Like, the only reason you won Game 2. So I'm not particularly going to light him up. They've got to be better. They won today, so I'm not going to beat it too hard, but dude. Then you had the first Alexis Lafreniere goal. By God, is it fun to say the first Alexis Lafreniere goal when you're talking about a playoff game, and you mean in that very game. Gets a feed from Vincent Trocheck, moves in on net, a very confident backhander from Alexis Lafreniere, scores, and it's tied up at 1 apiece. Then less than 30 seconds later, you have a hard-working shift from the fourth line. You have Will Coley fighting along the boards, behind the net, along the boards, to get the puck free. Finally frees it up over to Brendan Schneider. He fires on net. There is a beautiful screen in front by Rempe, and there is also a Barclay Goodrow who tips it home and gives the Rangers a 2-1 lead. His second goal in 2 games, not done yet. Side note, Barclay Goodrow has scored 6 goals now in the playoffs. He had 4 in 80 games. And I kind of talked about, Goodrow might just kind of be made for the playoffs. And, I think Goodrow's just kind of made for the playoffs, man. I think we are past that. Dominating game in Game 2. Obviously, he had the massive game winner. And then today, another pair for him. I don't know, man. If they do the thing, I don't think we're ever again going to hear someone complaining about that contract for Goodrow. Then the Panthers on another power play in the first period. Yes, by the way, this is all in the first period of a playoff game. Just need you to understand that fact because it is bonkers. You have Keandre Miller behind the net, tries to fire the puck out, very much can't. Stopped by Verhaeghe, given to Sam Reinhart. Oh, look, it's Sam Reinhart again, guys. Isn't that so much fun? It's Reinhart again. And I would be more surprised, but, I'm shocked he's only scored, 3 or 4 times in this series, and it hasn't been more than that. It's a bit of a mess in front. Shesterkin tries to go to his side, thinking it's going to be a pass, but it's a shot. Trouba goes flying towards him in, somehow the most ineffective way possible. By the way, I don't care to say anything more about it. Fire Trouba into the sun. I've done everything I can to be nice about it. Fire him into the sun. If I were in New York, I would simply unstitch the C from his chest and give it to Kreider because, Kreider. And it's been bad. Bunch of stupid penalties today. I believe he took 3 minors. And it's just, you can't from your captain in playoffs. You simply can't. We're done with this conversation. I'm not quite to the point of scratch him, but I think you throw him back on the third pair and you bring Schneider back up with Miller. And depending on how anything else goes, Zach Jones is there. Zach Jones is there, and that's all I'm saying. Then you go to the second period, and the Rangers have it in their defensive zone. It is handed to Alexis Lafreniere around the face-off circle, in their defensive zone. And sometimes it just warms your heart to see a boy grow up. Goes all the way down, a darn near coast-to-coast by Alexis Lafreniere, dances through Ekblad and Oliver Ekman-Larsson, beautiful backhander, scores and gives the Rangers a 3-2 lead in this game. Alexis Lafreniere, who has been buzzing all playoffs, he has been one of the Rangers' best players. His 6th of the season, postseason, correction. second of the game, puts him up, and just such a beautiful highlight reel goal from Alexis Lafreniere. It really needs to be appreciated. Then late in the second period, the Rangers on a massive penalty kill because Jacob Trouba took 2 penalties on the same play, guys. It's so great. It's so freaking cool. I love that. I don't love that even a little bit. Hard-working shift. Eventually, it's chipped out of the zone by Barclay Goodrow himself, might I add. And it gets over to Vincent Trocheck in deep in the Panther zone, behind the net. Fires it out in front. Barclay Goodrow, quick snapshot, just perfectly hits the corner and out, but it is in enough for a goal. The Rangers have a 4-2 lead in this game. And for a moment, you thought it was going to be easy. Like, for a moment, you finally thought it was just going to be easy. It can never be easy. And then, early in the second period, the Panthers make it a 1-goal game and end up tying it. You have the Alexander Barkov goal, which Vincent Trocheck's got to do something more there. He's standing straight up. That was a bad play. And I specify more there and not more in general, because Vincent Trocheck has been one of the most valuable players for the Rangers. Debatably, at this moment in time, probably their Conn Smythe. He's been fantastic, but on that play, dude, just standing straight up, knees as straight as a stick, doing nothing in the crease, and it's just kind of chipped in, tapped in, knocked in, however you want to say it, by Barkov to make it a 4-3 game, but they still have a lead until Gustav Forsling, and it's a face-off, it's won by the Panthers, and Shesterkin cheated way too hard blocker side. It's just kind of as simple as that. He left way too much open glove side. I mean, granted, he was open, Forsling, and you might have thought that he was going to try to carry in, which is kind of what the Panthers were doing all day. Carry in, try to get Madness in front. I see why that happened, but, dude, just not a good goal to allow by Shesterkin, and it's tied for a piece. There would be some more power play opportunities for the Panthers late in the third period, but they fight them off, and they force it to overtime. Both teams had a dozen great chances in overtime, but finally, it is a distant shot from Ryan Lingrid, tipped in by Alex Wenberg, his first of the playoffs, a player who I've been screaming, begging to show something, and finally, big OT winner, a beautiful job tipping it in and not getting a fist on it, just barely tips it with the shaft of his stick. No way to call it back. It is in, and the Rangers find a way to win this just incredible game. An incredibly exciting game, 5-4 in overtime, and steal a game in Florida. And that is massive, especially because it ends up going to overtime. If the Panthers would have won in regulation, granted that would have been very bad and would have been a very bad way to do it. The most wrong way to lose this game would have been losing it in overtime, because then, like, dude, it would have been all the momentum for the Panthers. And the way the Rangers won it was not the best way. Simply holding on to that big 4-2 lead would have been great. But in a world where the Panthers come back from down 4-2 and win the game in overtime, I don't know that I would have really watched game 4 or 5, because that would have just felt ceremonial at that point. They found a way, despite getting outplayed, to come up in the big moments, and that is what I talked about. It is what I have been begging the Rangers for. They did it in Game 2. They really did it tonight. And now you just hope that the momentum can carry over into Game 4. Because if they can take a 3-1 series lead heading back to New York, to Madison Square Garden in Game 5, it could be such a special moment. But at the very least, worst case scenario, the Rangers now have to win 2 games out of 4, and 2 games are at home. And that feels really, really good to get a win in Florida out of the way now. So we'll see what Tuesday holds for them. Game will be at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll be here afterwards to talk about it, but as for right now, that's all I have to say. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Rangers.